As we come to our lesson today, school is it's an interesting thing. I think that's probably a fair way to say it. School is an interesting thing. We have numerous of you here that you teach or you work in the schools, or many of you have. Some of you retired. Others of you volunteer. To my children who are here today, you go to school, but you don't volunteer, and you're not paid, and you're made to go. But nevertheless, each new school year comes with two kinds of hope. One kind of hope is the hope of maybe this year will be better than last year. And then there's the other kind of hope. Maybe this year won't be as bad as last year. And somewhere in between, there's a mix of the two. But it's also a time of opportunity. Now, a lot of what I'm going to say this morning, my children. And if I look over and you ain't looking at me, I'm going to go, my children. All right? So that you guys know, you got to look at me. A lot of what I'm going to say applies to you guys. Okay? Because I'll be honest with you, unless I've got a reason to be there, I avoid school property like a plague. I'm glad we have Tyler, who goes into the school and is our witness and minister on the Lord's behalf. And this year he's back with PE. He got out of ESC and they put him back in PE. And if you didn't see, Tyler went like that, like, yes, back where I want to be. And Sister Kelly helped him tremendously last year, and maybe he helped you some too last year, sister. But you know, it's an opportunity for you as children, because it's not just one of those things of you're there to mark time. Now, I will tell you, you are there to mark time. There is a certain truth that you have to punch the clock, you have to put in the time, you have to jump through the hoops until you're done. And he said, Brian, you shouldn't look at it that way. I will not ask how many of you are glad that school started. I won't ask how many of you wish school didn't start back. Because there is one aspect of school that very much is part of life, and that is this. Sometimes you just have to do stuff, you have to put in the time, and you have to get it over with so you can get on to the other stuff you want to do. That's called preparing you for being an adult. But I want to give you something to contemplate. Now, some of you have seen these nice lights, right? And these are handy-dandy lights. Never look at these lights straight, even on the wide beam, because it will blind you. Yeah, I'm not shining it at you that much, Addie. But in daylight, it doesn't really provide much. But if you narrow it down and you hone it in, and I figured, Gene, these were given to us by the U.S. Army recruiting people. I always figure their quartermaster or their engineers were the ones who got to design how it looked when you honed it in. Because when you hone it in, this thing, you can shine it from here to the sign at the lake, and you can light up the sign at the lake. But when you're like this, it only lights up about a half a block away. And kids, I want you to see your time and your opportunity this year kind of like that light. You can be kind of wide and nobody will really be able to tell the difference, or you can decide that you want to hone it in and you can actually bring something of value. Because first thing I want you to understand, and I need, all of you adults need to understand what I'm going to say to the kids applies to us too. And I wanted to write a different lesson because there was too much in this that made me go, oh, I got to fix more stuff in my own life. But then I thought, well, if I wait to give the kids the lesson till I've got everything perfect, I might not ever give them the lesson. And I want to tell you, have a blessing attitude. Have a blessing attitude. Philippians 2:14 says, do all things without murmuring and arguing. Man, that one's tough. That one's tough. It's hard to do just in general, but it's tough in school. For my teachers, it's tough. Why? Because honestly, let's be real honest. Some of the stuff from administration is either wrong, makes no sense, is wrong, makes no sense, or isn't beneficial to anybody except administration. You go, well, brother, surely they get some things right. Sometimes they do. But you know, that's always the danger of a title, is that when your title becomes the thing that you think allows you to boss everything, and you don't have to live with the actual reality of your decisions. It's always a challenge. And so to my kids, I'm going to say to you, grumbling or murmuring and arguing. Let's talk about grumbling. Grumbling is that thing. It's the static of discontent. Now, I know many of you don't know what static is, because your radios are digital now and your TVs are digital. You've forgotten what static is. But when I was a kid, I used to have remote-controlled aircraft. And I don't mean like the little planes. I mean the stuff you had your own legit servos that you put in it with the elevators and everything else. And the box for my remote control was about that big, because it had to be able to control the plane at over 150, 200 yards away. And I found out, all right, and this is orneriness, kids. All right, don't ever let anybody pretend to you that the preacher wasn't ornery when he was a kid. All right, there's fun that's ornery that doesn't hurt anyone. And then there's fun that's not ornery or that does hurt someone. It's okay to be fun and ornery as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. Okay, that's just part of life. And what I found out was everybody who didn't have cable, that all had wired antennas on their TVs or antenna towers, that I could take my aircraft remote, point it all the way out, and I could hit it, and I could sit in the middle of the street and watch their screen go to snow and static. And and y'all, it was funny because I'd hit it, and then I'd wait a minute, release it, and then they get back to whatever, and then I'd hit it again. And after like third time, they'd get up, and they'd start adjusting their rabbit ears, and then I'd go on. Now you're going, no, it was funny. You guys know, some of you guys get why that was funny. It was funny. And you're going, you were just ornery. I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't hurt their TVs. I gave them a reason to get up and exercise, a little bit more in the evening. But static is that noise that distracts you. For my kids, I would say to you, over the school speaker, when you've got that low hum and it's still buzzing and you don't know why, does it ever get on your nerves? That's your static. And when you're in a place of murmuring and grumbling, you're the static in the situation. Now I want to tell you about arguing. Arguing is the beginning noise of conflict. Gossip in the hallway, snarky texts, passive-aggressive nonsense. You say, but Brother Brian, the teacher. Well, I've had plenty of the teachers tell me, Brother Brian, the kid. And I've had everybody tell me, the administration. You can't control the administrative office. How many of you know and can walk into the principal's office anytime you please? You can walk in anytime you please? Okay, I got one kid shaking their head yes. This is interesting. I want to see if this is true. Can your child walk into the principal's office anytime they want? Your youngest child? Yes.
Well, in a perfect world, yes, she should be able to walk into her principal's office, but not in a perfect world. She can't.
Okay. And that's the thing. There's a lot of stuff where honestly, grumbling and arguing does not make anything better. If you can't actually talk to people direct about it and open and honest, and they're the power brokers, except that the only piece you can control is the piece that you have in front of you right now. Right, Mason? It's the only piece you got. 100 other kids doing 100 other things, you can't control that. What you can control is you and your attitude. And I want you to understand, blessing means to add value. To add value. What you do, do it well. Wednesday night I told the kids, and I still stand by what I said Wednesday night, and I stand by it as a general life principle. Sometimes you do well because you want to do well because it's who you are, it's who you want to be. Sometimes you do the job well so you don't have to do it twice so that they'll leave you alone and get off your back. And you know, kids, do your schoolwork, do it well. Because if the teacher's off your back, then your parents aren't on your back about your schoolwork because your teacher's not on them. And guess who has less people on their back? You. That's correct, John. Thank you. I appreciate the hand raise. You. And guess what your teacher will find? They will find someone else's kid on whose back to be for not doing their stuff. So do your stuff and do it well. But then do it well for this other reason. The internal satisfaction that you know you did your job well, and no one can ever take that away from you. No one. A job well done stays with you long after the job is over. No one can ever take that from you. And so as you get ready to go in to school, and you say, well, what about us teachers? To my teachers, having had the joy of working with some of your problem children over the years, do the best you can by your problem children. But make sure you invest in the ones that aren't your problem children too. The ones that are good ground, the ones that are fertile ground, the ones that will readily receive the good you can do. Make sure that the distraction children don't keep you from being able to put the blessing into the ones that you can. And I know that's hard. But sometimes, and years ago I wouldn't have said this, but as time's gone on, I've come to realize there's a truth in what I'm fixing to say. Sometimes you just have to let the wild child be wild in his corner to put what good you can into the ones who actually want to be there and get something out of it. And all of us, God, how can I show your joy today? Or God, how can I be your blessing today? Because kids, the only ones who are going to bless the other kids, most of you other kids, on a regular basis is going to be you. If you're waiting for someone else to come in and be a blessing to the kids you go to school with, it needs to be you. You're the light. You're supposed to be the light. You're supposed to be the missionary in there. I want to talk to you briefly about your character. Now, Waylon, we know little Waylon, and little Waylon's over there. If you know little Waylon, you know Waylon is a character. Now we want to talk about godly character. And little Waylon's smiling. He's like, yeah, I'm a character. I know it. All right? But you know, Scripture tells us so that you may be blameless and innocent children of God without blemish. Man, this one's tough. This one's tough. Whoever persuaded everybody that everyone should have cell phones even in kindergarten, I'm not really sure. It's hard to be blameless and innocent when everything corrupt comes so quick in the palm of your hand. I'm going to say to some of you kids, you need to uninstall like 90% of your apps and then hand your phone to your parental units and let them put locks and passcodes so that you can't install stuff. For others of you, some of it is just knock off some of your nonsense. What I'm going to say, a lot of preachers won't say anymore, but I'm going to say it to you. At 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, for most of you, the boy or the girl over whom you obsess will not be the person you marry. You don't need to be taking pictures and sending them to each other. You don't need to be avowing your endless love. You don't need to be getting into brawls in the locker rooms or the bathrooms over someone that when you're 20 years the other side of it and married to your spouse, you'll have a hard time remembering the name of the person that you thought was the end-all be-all of creation when you were 11. And I'm going to say this other one to you. Sex is not for middle school and high school. It's for marriage and only within the bounds of marriage. Leave it alone. You say, and what's our elementary cutoff here? Fourth? All right. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think we're there in fourth grade yet. You say, I've lived places as young as fifth grade. Fifth grade is the youngest I know of. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. You're not emotionally or mentally in the place you need to be. You're not physiologically where your body needs to be. And I'm going to tell you right now, some of the vaccinations that they've put out there, they've had to put out there, and they've had to put them out there for children because you've triggered certain things in the juvenile population with some of these different viruses that would not be an issue if you waited until you were married before you ever started having sex. And certain cancers and other things are also being triggered by it. And you can find the studies and you can look it up. Children, you're only going to be children once. Enjoy it and don't get caught up in the foolishness. Don't get caught up in it. You know, you can have a clean heart and good intention. You can. You have to choose it, though. What does clean heart look like? The girls you go to school with are not sex objects, boys. It's seeing them as young women in your community, many of whom are your third, fourth, fifth cousins, or that your families have known each other for 20 generations. Now, it's a slight exaggeration because America hadn't been here for 20 generations. Slight. I'll give you another one, though. Believe it or not, most of the teachers are not your enemy. The teachers are not your enemy. They're not there to cause you trouble. They're there to try and help you. Kids, in case you haven't figured it out, some of your teachers find it as hard to get up and go to school and work with some of those same kids you go to school with as you do. Clean heart, good intention. And this is about being a blessing. Add value to your teacher. Do your work well. But once in a while, say thank you. Of all the things most teachers never hear from their kids with any sincerity, thank you. And here's how easy thank you is, right? Thank you for being here to help me be better. You can say that. You can say that. Because for some of them, if they were to hear that this year, for some of them, that might be the first time they've ever heard it in 20 years of teaching. Clean heart, good intention. You can add value to your teachers and to other kids around you with something as simple as thank you. And I give you this one to understand. Many of you, my children, how many of you kids know most of the other kids you go to school with are nuts? It's all right, you can raise your hand if you know most of the other kids are nuts. Yeah, at least some of you, okay, right? My gallery over here, some of you. You said, not all of them are nuts, Brian. How many kids that you go to school with, and there's some of you who are here today, many of you don't realize how good your lives are. You've lived in the same house for years. You've got the same parents for years. And so you go, Brian, I ain't got that. Church is where I come because it's the most stable thing in my life. Can I tell you right now, if Wednesdays and Sundays are some of the best days you have and some of the most stability in your life, you need to understand there's a lot of other kids that they don't have Sundays and Wednesdays even. They don't have that. And you, with the good you have, you, with the blessings that you've already gained, if you'll be consistent to other kids who don't want to be bad, you can be an anchor point for them to say, you don't seem quite as crazy as the rest of us. I want a little bit of something that you have. And if you'll be consistent, you can help other kids to a better place. If you're waiting until you become an adult to make a difference, I'm here to tell you right now, you can make a difference where you're at in your own grade. Be steady. Because a lot of kids you're with, they have nothing steady. And they have no refuge, and you can be that. You say, that's a lot to put on a kid. It is. When we came to Union County, there weren't fences around the schools. When we came to Union County, there weren't electronic locks on everything. Now, we're not as prison-looking as a lot of other school districts. I've seen some school districts, they've got 2 layers of fence. And you can still pull into most of our parking lots without having to go through gates. Well, or at least the gates sit open. But you know, things have changed in 7.5 years. It's not like it used to be where a dozen different civic organizations could go in and be a light to the kids. Kids, if you're not the light, there's a pretty good chance no light's coming in this month. You say, what about my teachers? Your teachers are already to the limit trying to jump through all the hoops that everybody's got for them. But in those moments, at lunch, on the playground, whatever, you're the light. In Philippians 2:15, the second half, in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation in which you shine like stars in the world. You're the light in places of darkness amongst your peers. It's you. And it's you that will bring glory to God the Father by who and what you are. You need to understand, even for those of you who haven't been baptized, you carry the word of Jesus in you in every hallway, on every bus, in every lunchroom, every PE period. Every once in a while, Tyler gets to come in and sit down, and he brings me a Dr. Pepper Zero. And he goes, today was one of those days with PE. And you go, PE's rough? It's rough, y'all. If you ain't figured out teaching youngins in this new era, it's rough. You say, well, us kids know it's rough too. To my teachers, I need you to know that Christ is with you. You are the agent of Christ in the authority role. To the students, you're the agent of Christ in the friendship role. But you've got to choose. May, Bentley, Waylon, Tucker, even though your sister says they found you on the side of a road. Right? Eva Lee, I can name all the kids, but you're the one. If it's going to change, it's going to change with you. If your friends are going to change, they're going to change with you and because of you. And either you're bringing them up or you bring them down. That young person that you're so enamored of, ask yourself this. The kind of crazy that you exchange with them, is that the kind of crazy you want for the next 50 years of your life? Thank you, whoever said no. Then don't feed that crazy into your peers. Don't feed that crazy into your friend network. You be the one. Shine with an attitude that adds value, with blessing. Shine with the character that you know you should. There's stuff you know you should be doing, and you're not. I'm not trying to give you something new. I'm telling you, do what you already know. And then finally, shine for God's glory. For those of you that are here and you haven't been baptized, you carry the word of Christ with you, but you can carry the Holy Spirit in you. And God can dwell in you and be with you literally everywhere you go.